on drugs devastated the African American community. To this day, people continue to associate the crack cocaine epidemic with predominantly poor and African American communities. The NCBI finds that black drug offenders are 5 to 7 times more likely to be incarcerated than their white counterparts. Mandatory minimum sentences force even minor drug offenders into prison on federal offenses for years. If the Anti-Drug Abuse Act were never passed, the United States of America would never have experienced an expansion of the concept of mandatory minimums, and the cycle of drug use and incarceration would never have existed. Even though 2/3 of inmates are addicted to drugs and alcohol, only 11% will ever get any treatment. If the United States treated drug users with rehabilitation instead of incarceration, we would have a system more akin to nations like Portugal, where drug use isn't a crime and users are encouraged to go to treatment. This would drastically reduce the number of overdoses. After Portugal decriminalized drug use, the number of overdoses from all drugs dropped 85%.
Take me from the beginning. How did this all start?
Yeah, so I was at the park one day. I bought some cocaine off a dealer, and yeah, I was just having a good time.
Give me some coke!
It was the weekend, and yeah, I got caught by some douchebag officer.
Okay, and then how did the arrest go down? Like, what was the whole experience like?
Oh, it was horrible. I was unarmed. He drew a pistol at me, and I surrendered. Then I got scared because I thought he was gonna shoot, so I ran. This man tackled me to the ground. He put his, started punching me, kicking me. I told him I couldn't breathe. He told me he didn't care.
So he treated you completely unprofessionally.
That's just what they do, man. When you don't have money, you can't talk. That's just the way
You
it
can't
goes.
fight back.
You can't fight back.
Okay, so what happened next after you got caught? So did you enter the legal system?
I did. After I was held for over 4 weeks in pre-trial detention, I finally got to meet with a lawyer. She just told me to plead guilty because apparently I was smoking crack.
Was it powder cocaine or crack cocaine?
It was crack, but they're the same drug, right?
No, unfortunately that's not quite how it works. See, if you're caught with crack cocaine in your possession, under the Anti-Drug Abuse Act, you're sentenced to a minimum of 5 years, and it could go far beyond that.
But I have a family to support. Is there anything that I can do?
Unfortunately, the law doesn't care about your family.
And apparently there are these things called mandatory minimums for crack that were done by Reagan or someone. So if I didn't plead, I was looking at 5 years minimum. So I didn't even get a defense.
So you're telling me you got your sentence because of the circumstance in which you were caught smoking the cocaine?
Yeah,
not because you were snorting the cocaine.
Crack cocaine, powder cocaine is all the same thing. But apparently, because there's more crack in these poor neighborhoods, these LBJ, these Reagans, they added more penalties for it. It's a war on the poor.
So they're discriminating against you because of your socioeconomic background.
Yeah.
And then what happened next? How did it go down in the courts?
So I did as my lawyer advised. I pled guilty, and I still got jail time. I came out a felon. I couldn't vote. No one wanted to hire me, so I had to resort to burglaries. And then I got caught again. I got sent back. Got sent back out. My wife left me. I couldn't support my kids. And so finally I decided, you know what? I've been on the wrong side of the law. Might as well go the full 8 miles. And so I started dealing.
So, did you feel trapped by the system in any way?
Absolutely, man. Once you go in, there's no coming back out.
What do you say to people who ask you to say you could have reformed? They say, oh, why didn't he go through the system like normal people do?
You know what? Let me tell you this. When you're addicted, it's a neurological problem. Throwing a cancer patient behind bars and saying, get better, will never work. I don't understand why we do that to drug addicts. So I got thrown in, and then I had to stay there. I only got my addiction worsened. As soon as I got out, the first thing I had to do was look for drugs. I had not been rehabilitated. I didn't get any medication. They just intensified my addiction and forced me to find new ways to fuel it.
Couldn't you find a job, get out of this somehow?
Yeah, the problem is on every job application, there's a check mark that I'm legally obligated to check, saying, yes, I am a felon. And no one wanted to hire me after that. And you can understand why, but I'm just a non-violent drug offender. Didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, thank you.
Yo, where is this guy?
I don't know. He said he'd show up.
Is this where the interview is?
Yeah, you're late.
Cool.
So, take me from the top. Where does your story begin?
So basically, I was in my office. I was Snapchatting my girlfriend. Ooh, damn! I'm such a pretty girl. Wow. Okay. Okay. Life is good. I have a lot of money. I think it's about time to get high. And decided to do some cocaine because I was in a good mood. And then all of a sudden, my coworker just barged right in, and then she molded me out, man.
Are you doing cocaine again? Are you serious? Oh my god, this is how many times you've gotten caught? Like 3 times already. This is ridiculous.
4,
This is not good. I'm calling the police.
Linda, why are you gonna be like this, man? It's cool.
You
It's
need to
just a
learn.
little.
Hello, 911. Yeah, I'd like to report my coworker snorting cocaine in the office at work for like the 5th
The
time.
cops came. I was pretty upset.
Okay,
The dude
full
just
description.
walked me out, read me my rights.
Asian. He's pretty. He earns a lot of money.
LAPD. Sir, we're gonna have to take you in. This is the 4th time this month that I've gotten a call about you and doing cocaine. So please, if you could stand up, sir.
Bruh, it's cool. We're fine. We're fine.
I'm sorry, sir. This is for your own good.
Bruh,
Now, if you feel uncomfortable anytime during this arrest, please let me know. We'll make sure everything is accommodated for.
My dad's not gonna be happy with this.
Don't worry, though. Your lawyer will. So overall, you'd say the experience was pretty good. Non-violent, you'd say.
I mean, it's kind of a drag, but sure. No violence.
And after that, how did it go with the courts?
Walked in, walked right out, and I just got sentenced with rehab.
So let me know a little bit about your crime. What exactly did you do?
So, just in my office, and I took some cocaine, so it's like no big deal.
Wait, was it crack cocaine or powder cocaine?
It's just powder. Do I look poor to you?
Alright, that's great, because luckily, Reagan's Anti-Drug Abuse Act doesn't impose any mandatory minimum sentences for powder cocaine. So we can get you off, if I work with your prosecutor, I can get you off with just rehab and no sentences at all. How does that sound?
Bro, that's like totally excellent, my dude. You're so bodacious. I appreciate it. Thank you.
What was your sentence?
My sentence was just, go to 1 year of rehab, and that was pretty much it.
Okay, and afterwards?
Afterwards, just went back to my life. I've been making billions and billions of dollars. Companies, stocks, you name it. I'm pretty rich, bro.
So, overall, would you say that this really was just like a speed bump? It didn't even have a real effect on your life?
I mean, pretty much. The system's kind of stupid.
Yeah, just like any other Tuesday, am I right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So, you still using cocaine?
Here and there, sure.
You're not scared at all that you'll get caught again, repeat offender?
I mean, am I supposed to be scared of 1 year of rehab?
And then again, you get right back to making billions, am I right?
Yeah. So, it's all good.
Okay, then. Thank you.
Yeah. Can I go now?
I mean, we're not holding you here against your will, are we?
I mean, kinda. See ya. Life is good. Yeah, like, I don't have to do anything, got off with rehab, and now I just made a $5 billion deal with Donald Trump, you know, life is good.
Unfortunately, getting caught with drugs isn't so easy for everyone. I lost my wife, I wasn't able to support my children, I ended up having to rob to get a basic amount of money, and I got sent back to prison. Each time I got less and less rights, and now, back where I started, dealing cocaine. Want some?